Oh, wow. So you can see all of the grease inside there. It's just disintegrated over the years. So we're going to replace it. Obviously, this is where it gets messy. All of that needs to come out, be thrown away. And look at this. Look at all of that. That all has to come out. Welcome back to the channel, everyone. So today we are back working on our KitchenAid mixer. We've had it about 25 years, and in all of that time we have not changed the grease inside, and that's something that you have to do for regular maintenance. What we noticed was we were starting to see some of the grease actually seeping out the drip ring. And in today's video, we're going to show you how to replace that at home in about 15 minutes. Okay, before we get started, I want to thank you all for stopping by. If you like this kind of content, please like and subscribe because it really helps my channel. I actually have another video where I show you how to fix a pin that continues to slide out or vibration that seems to be excessive, and I'll link that above for you so you can check that out as well. Every one of the things that we have that we've done to complete this repair, I will leave a link in the description below. The main thing you're going to need to do is get some food safe grease. So I've got that. I have, of course, a hammer, screwdriver, a couple of rubber gloves because it's going to be very messy, lots of paper towels, and I also have just an old towel that we're going to lay down here so whenever I go to take off the drip ring, it drops here and it doesn't damage the finish that we see here. So let's get started. All right, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to remove this cover. There's a Phillips screwdriver. I'll just remove that screw. I'm going to set it aside and take the cover off, up and away, and I'm going to put that screw right inside there. Now there are different screws as we go along here, and we're going to try to keep everything together so we know exactly where things go. In this model, I have a Phillips here and a Phillips here. What that's going to do is that is going to take off this beauty band right here. So we'll just loosen that up. Set that screw aside. Second one we set aside. We're going to pull that like that. It's going to come off. Just slide it right off. And you can see oil where it has separated right through here. And obviously there's food debris and stuff from it being 25 years since we've done anything with this. So we're going to clean all of that off before we put it back on. We'll set that over here. And then two screws that we used, we'll set right there as well. This is the control mechanism, obviously. And so as you can see, as you advance the speeds, it moves this in and out. So the next thing we need to do is we need to remove the gear assembly that you connect the paddle to. And that's right here. There is a pin. I'm going to flip this on its side so you can see that. And I'll bring you over so you can see down on top. Okay, so now that it's on its side, this is the pin right here. And so we're going to use a punch in order to push that pin out through the other side, and then this will come down. So this is probably in there pretty good. So we're just going to use our punch and give it a couple of whacks. There it comes. There's the pin. We'll set that aside. This back up. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to lay my towel here, because what's going to happen whenever I go to take this drip ring, I take it off, it's going to come down, and I don't want it to damage the finish. And so I have a screwdriver. I'm just going to catch the edge of that drip ring right there, and I'm going to do some gentle taps on the end of the screwdriver so that comes off. There we go. Let's look. You see that oil finish that's right there? So that oil finish, we just need to clean all of that out. That's all of the oil that has actually separated and has become liquid from whenever it was put in there at the factory. Now is also a great time to clean all around and get all the food debris out. But what we're going to do is we're going to try to remove this planetary gear. Remember, we removed the pin, so this should slide right out. Since it's stuck, not surprising because it's been there for so long, what I'm going to do, I'm going to use a flathead screwdriver. I'm going to wrap it in a towel, and right here and all along, you see the screws. What we're going to do is we're going to wedge this in there, and we're going to turn it until it pops out. And I'm going to go ahead and have my hand here, so that way I can catch it when it comes down. As I push this, that grease is very, very sticky in there because it's so old. And it's coming out, as you can see now. You can see all of what we got when we just wiped the machine off. And I'm just working my way around, pushing it slowly. Here it comes. Okay. You can see all of this used to be solid oil. It should have oil that is all around the gear, and it actually be a solid, but you see it's liquid. And this brown, super sticky. And that's all the stuff that we're going to clean off. But that's just under here. We need to get inside the motor and look at all of that, because obviously there's a turning part up here that is spinning this. So we're going to clean that as well. Now, one thing I'm going to look for is there should be a washer right here. I don't see it. And then when I look over here, here it is. So I'm going to take that off. It is a cardboard washer, it feels like. Actually, no, this one is not cardboard. This is actually a regular washer. I'm going to set that right there, and we'll set it off to the side so we can address it here in a little bit. Now what we need to do is we need to work on removing this top housing. So in order to remove the top housing, there are bolts underneath, and I'll show you exactly where those are. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 on this particular machine. Remember, we're going to make sure that when we take the bolts out, we take a look at what they are and group them together. These will likely be different than what is right here. All right, so I took each one of these out so you could see. The one that is threaded all the way is the one that actually goes into the case. The one that's near the gear, you can see it's not threaded the whole way. I'm going to make sure and make note of that, and we'll keep that separate. If you look here, the gears have no grease left on it. It's all been slung out, and it's all right here, and that is super sticky. This all needs to be cleaned, and we'll do that. I've taken this screw out, I got to take this one out, and then I've got one back here and one back there. Once we take those out, the housing should come right off. Let's lift this off. Same method as before, we'll use a towel, paper towel. This actually, shop towels are really thick. We just want to make sure we don't damage as much as we can. In the side, back here, We're going to use that to lift it up. And it may be stuck on there as we found with that gear. We'll see. Here we go. There we go. See, it looks like it's lifting up now. I think we're okay there. So right before I lift this off, in the back, you have this cord is actually sitting right in there. And what that does is prevent you from pulling the cord out. So we'll unhook that, and then we'll lift the entire motor housing off. Let's get this forward, visibility of it. Here it comes. Oh, wow. So you can see all of the grease inside there. It's just disintegrated over the years. So we're going to replace it. Obviously, this is where it gets messy. All of that needs to come out, be thrown away. And look at this. Look at all of that. That all has to come out. So what we're going to do now is we're going to take our large flathead screwdriver and get all of that out as much as we possibly can. I've got a gasket right here that I'll clean up here in just a moment. I'll set that over here. But all of that has to come out. And then we're going to re-grease it, reassemble, and we'll be in good shape. Just to kind of give you an idea of what we're looking at here. On the inside of your mixer, you see the motor down here. That's the speeds. Of course, that's the gear that drives the beater. And then there's your attachment piece. We're going to clean all of that out. It's oddly satisfying. There are 3 screws. 1, 2, 3. We're going to take that gear assembly out so we can get in there and get the rest of that. We're going to clean up all that grease off of that. You can see the reason why these last so long. This is all metal. In this gear on my machine, there is no clip ring underneath, so I'm just pushing that straight up, and that gear will come right out. There. So see, that is taken completely out. On some machines, there could be a clip ring there. Again, you can see all the grease is underneath, but it's not even on the gears. Take out that drive gear. You can see that's the square that you put your attachment in, so that sits in like this. Let's get that clean as well. You're not going to get everything. It is just absolutely everywhere. Just do the best you can. We're going to go back through and make sure we've gotten the teeth as much as we can, getting all those cleaned off before we reassemble. Okay, so we actually spent quite a bit more time getting ours really clean. Obviously, you can do it a whole lot faster if you didn't go through it like we did, but we went through about, an entire roll of shop towels in order to get this thing clean. Take a look at all of the grease. You can see it's dried up, it's starting to separate. It's just nasty. So now what we need to do is we need to reassemble, and that's going to be much easier. And I'll show you how to put the grease on there too. I'm going to set this back up here. Remember, there was actually a washer. And so we're going to put the washer right there. Okay, there's that. Now, remember we took this piece off, and it had the 3 screws. So we're going to mount that here. It actually has a guide pin right there. Makes it really easy. Put that there. We'll put the 3 screws in and tighten them. Remember, these all had lock washers. Okay, so now go ahead and add some of our grease. And we're going to make sure it's along the teeth here and then along that gear there. Okay, so now inside our main unit here, inside our motor, remember we took out this drive gear piece, which slides in that way. We're going to put some grease around that. Put a big swath of grease in there. Let's set it up on its top here, and let's try to put the top on. Okay, now that we have the top on, we're going to turn it over and we're going to put the screws in that hold that top in. Remember there was two here, and a bunch around that gear. Hold on to that, turn it over. Remember the ones that were fully threaded go here. Okay, so I have the dowel pin here. I'll put the washer on. Remember the pin is right in here, so it's going to need to sit in just like that. And then I'll slide the pin through. Just turn it slightly so I get the gear in there. There we go. Okay, now let's put the drip ring back on. All right, and turn it up on the side a little bit like that. I'm going to use the rubber side of my mallet to just tap it in place. All right, so now, remember this wire just pushes straight in there and holds it. Okay, we're going to clean off our beauty ring here. Goes around like that. Okay, 2 screws here. All right, let's put cover back. Held on by this one screw. All right, let's give it one final wipe down, and we're done. So it's the next day, and I grossly underestimated how long this was going to take. It took me about 45 minutes to get everything clean on the inside. Obviously, you could speed it up if you didn't clean out all the old grease as well as that I did. But let's take a look and see how we did. Everything functions as normal. We've got brand new grease in there that should last us quite a bit longer, and our mixer is now good as new. Thanks a lot for watching. We'll see you on the next one.